Hi, we're going back on tour.
Hello, everybody. Rush is going back on tour in 2026, and
you
tonight
may have heard that.
you might have heard that. Yes, and we are here with the wonderful Donna Halper to talk about her introduction of Alex and Geddy at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on October 5th. But before we get into all of that, there's some news that this might be breaking news to some folks. I don't know. We recently lost Ace Frehley of KISS, the spaceman, founding member of KISS. KISS and Rush, of course, went on tour back in 1975. And, you know, they became friendly over the years, and they basically, their professionalism, in my opinion, led to the professionalism, or part of the kind of the role models that Rush became to us, right? So they learned kind of how to be professionals from KISS. And the funny side of it is Alex would always do this thing called the bag. He'd take a paper bag, he'd draw goofy faces on it. You can watch the Rush Time Stand Still documentary. And Ace Frehley loved that. He loved the bag. There you go. David's got the shirt on.
In honor of Ace tonight, we're in the bag.
Good stuff. So, yes.
But I will always remember, and of course, I got to be backstage with the guys and see them without their makeup and all of that. I mean, just hang out and talk and everything. What I will always be grateful for is that the guys in KISS were among the first to really embrace Rush. And I don't mean embrace them like, you know what I mean? I mean embrace them as in there were rock stars who were horrible to Rush. Okay, I mean, there were certain rock stars who will remain nameless. Gee, I wonder who it might be, who pulled their amps because they were playing too long and getting too much of a response. I mean, when you're the third act on the bill, or the second, and nobody's there to see you, they're there to see the opening act. There were a lot of bands that treated Rush like crap, okay, if I may say. KISS was never like that, okay? For all the reputation that KISS had being wild and crazy guys, they were never like that with Rush. They were always like big brothers, okay? And I saw it firsthand. I can speak to it. You saw the documentary Beyond the Lighted Stage. Geddy talks about that. I mean, I will always be grateful to KISS for how kind they were, how they mentored Rush. And, you know, you all get by with a little help from your friends. So there it is.
All right. Absolutely. So, Paul's already chirping David. All right, get a haircut, you hippie.
The only reason I grew my hair back out is to get Paul to tell me to cut it, and then my mother to chime in on social media.
Nah, he's just jealous because not every guy has a full head of hair. Come on.
This is true.
Paul Cormier.
Yeah. Why do you think he wears hats?
Be jealous without showing it.
Hey, Howie, where's the big egg?
All right.
Geddy's still got all his hair.
Sure does. Sure does. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Alex and Geddy.
Geddy's hair, yeah.
Geddy's hair, yeah. Going bald. So October.
It really was. I've read 40 different versions of how that song came to be. All I know is what Geddy told me. And Geddy said it was about him. And that it was about how he was worrying so much and so nervous and so this and that early in their career, being out on the road and everything, that his hair started falling out. Now, again, I know it has been attributed to other musicians. Fine. You know, whoever wants to share the experience, be my guest.
Yep. All right. So October 5th was the pre-announcement, I guess the night before the big announcement, which was on October 6th.
I interrupted you because I'm a horrible person. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Like shame on you. But should we, in fact, have a moment of silence for Ace, because he was a
For sure.
gentleman, and I appreciated what he did, and may he rest in peace. And let's have a little silence for the man.
100%.
Thank you. Okay, I feel like it's the
Absolutely.
least we could do.
For sure.
Agreed.
Thank you.
100%. So October 5th, Donna was in Cleveland to introduce Alex and Geddy at their little stealth announcement just for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You can watch that, I think,
really
about
was.
17-minute video on the Rock Hall's YouTube channel. And Donna's here to tell us all about it. So if you have any questions for Donna as we go, throw them into the comments, and we
Indeed. And if
will
I don't
throw
know
them on
the
the
answer,
screen.
I'll make it up.
There you go. So Donna, let's turn it over to you. Tell us the timeline, how it all came about, and your whole
Did
experience.
something happen?
Well, I'm going to be a horrible person too to interrupt. Donna,
Something
make
must have
sure
happened.
you
Well,
mention about.
but all joking aside, and David knows this is true. David knows that my spirituality is very important to me. I'm not religious, okay, but I'm very Jewish identified, and for most of my life, fasting on the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, which is really the most important day in Judaism. I've always fasted. I've always spent the day in prayer and contemplation and study and stuff like that. Donna, where are you going with this? Where I'm going with this is the management of Rush had sent me an email. And I go on a media fast, okay? In addition to like a fast, I tell all my followers and everybody that's a friend of mine, if you try to get a hold of me on the Day of Atonement, I will never see the message because I'll be in synagogue and I just won't even see it, okay? And that's exactly what happened. When I got done with services and when I broke the fast and was having dinner with my husband, I said, I'll bet you I got a few hundred emails. And I went to my phone to see what I had, and I had a message from Geddy's manager. Now, Geddy's manager rarely gets in touch, okay? She gets in touch when there's something she needs to tell me, okay? Like when the book tour was happening. She got in touch to say, you know, can you be in such and such a city because Geddy wants you to do the Q&A, you know, that kind of thing. So it's like, are you free over the weekend and can you keep a secret? I'm paraphrasing the message. And I'm like, okay. So I get back in touch. Sorry, I haven't been around, but it was the Day of Atonement and I wasn't online. And she was embarrassed because she knew that it was, you know, you just, one day becomes a blur and then it's another day and then we've all done it. Okay. So she apologized and said, you know, I wasn't trying to bother you on your holiday. I'm like, you didn't bother me. I didn't see the message. But is it too late? Has the thing that you wanted me to talk about happened? She said, no, not at all. Are you around Sunday night? Yeah. She said, fine. Can you get to Cleveland? And I'm like, why do I need to get to Cleveland? I mean, I figured maybe Geddy was like, you know, he's got his new book out. Maybe it's another book tour. I mean, I literally did not know a thing. You want to talk tightly kept secret? Okay. Like, how many of you knew that Annika had been flown in and had been practicing with Alex and Geddy for a couple of months? I talk to these folks fairly regularly. Never talked to Annika, but I'm saying I know Geddy's sister. I know Geddy. I know Alex. I mean, news to me. And I'll bet you it was news to everyone. Okay. And they said that's exactly how they wanted it. But long story short, okay, I had no idea what event they were talking about. And I'm like, is this a book tour? Because I really do want his baseball book. I write for SABR, the Society for American Baseball Research. I'm a big baseball fan. I've talked baseball with Geddy on more than one occasion. Yeah, I thought, oh, maybe that's what it is. And so, it ain't what it is. We need you at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Huh. Okay. And she said, and Alex and Geddy are going to be there. So I'm like, what could possibly be going on literally, okay? Like, what could be going on? I haven't read anything online about an event, okay? Well, she said there is an event, but it's by invitation only. Okay. And we want you there, okay? I think she said first we, and then it was eventually Geddy would like you there. Um, Either way, I said, sure. So she made the arrangement. She put me on a plane. She got me into the limo, this, that, these, those. I'm in Cleveland. I still don't know what I'm there for. And she's like, oh, and we want you to introduce them. Now, I was a DJ for years, okay? So, I mean, introducing people, come on, I introduced people at Carnegie Hall, for heaven's sake, okay? I mean, but introduce them for what? What are they doing? Nope, just introduce them. So I start talking to some of my friends who live in Cleveland. I've got a couple of journalist friends that are just wonderful. And one of them says, yeah, heard a rumor that they're getting back together. Now, I had heard that they might do some more benefit concerts. So I figured, wow, maybe they're announcing a benefit for charity because Geddy had said that Alex, when he and Alex played together at Taylor Hawkins' benefit, it just, they felt so good about doing that. I mean, they felt sorry that he had passed, but they felt so good about doing that they both said, you know, we want to do more of that. If there were a charitable cause that we could get behind, we'd do it. So I said to my friend, maybe that's it. Maybe they're getting back together and they're announcing a big charity concert, and that'll be kind of cool. Or maybe they're making a big donation to the Rock Hall. That also would be kind of cool. Literally, I don't know. But I get there, they spirit me backstage, and while I'm going backstage, I see a line of people, and they're all being asked to turn in their phones, and they're being asked to sign something. Now, I ain't no dummy, okay? I may have been born at night, but I wasn't born last night, okay? So I'm like, I bet you they're signing NDAs. Okay. So you don't sign an NDA if somebody's making a donation to a museum, okay? I make donations all the time. Nobody takes my phone. Nobody's okay. So I'm like, I'm puzzled. But I get backstage and it's all like old home week. Geddy hugs me and he's watching the Blue Jays game, okay? I mean, they're about
priorities.
that, you know, yeah. It's Geddy. He loves baseball. And we're like talking baseball, and Alex comes over and hugs me, and some of the members of the, you know, the backstage crew that I know are there, and we're kibitzing and this and that. And I still don't know why I'm there. But, you know, it's like, really glad to see you. Just get out there and introduce us. Okay. So I get into the auditorium, small number of people are there. And like I said, no phones, no nothing. And the head of the Rock Halls will take you up on stage, will introduce you, and then you just bring on Alex and Geddy. Fine with me. So I get up on stage, gave about a 5-minute speech. They edited it down to about a minute for the video, but that's okay. It probably wasn't that interesting. But, you know, got some applause. That felt good. I was glad. Brought them on stage. We hugged. And then they went over to be interviewed by Jeff Edgers. And I know Jeff. Jeff works for the Washington Post, but he lives in Massachusetts. And he and I have had lunch, and he's just the nicest person, very good journalist. So I'm like, Jeff Edgers, okay. Again, you don't bring Jeff Edgers in if you're making a donation to a museum. The guy writes for the Washington Post. So next thing I know, sure enough, they announce that they are in fact getting back together, going on tour. And to the surprise of everyone, including your humble servant, they talked about how they had brought Annika in, how well respected she was. May I say, I'm rant mode on for a second. If I get one more person saying, "Oh, they hired a female drummer," no,
DEI hire, I saw somebody say.
no, they hired a drummer, and a very well respected drummer. Was Neil a male drummer? I mean, come on. They could have had any drummer they wanted. Okay. When Neil passed, I mean, Geddy said, you can read the interview. This is not Donna making this up. Geddy said when Neil passed, every drummer in the history of humanity was sending them tapes. And Geddy was like, go away, like, Neil isn't even cold in the ground and you're sending me tapes? No, didn't even want to think about it. So the fact is, half of the drummers in the world have been in touch at one time or other, and the other half were in touch later. So it's not some, oh dear, we're short of drummers and we need to bring this person in. This is one of the most respected drummers in Europe, and you can look that up. Okay? I mean, she is dynamic. She's well respected. She's got advanced degrees. She teaches at a university. She's been out with some of the best bands. So she's a musician. And when they brought her in, as I said, she already came very highly recommended. And I think it's a brilliant choice. They didn't know it was going to work out any more than they knew that, oh, let's bring the guy in from Dream Theater, or let's bring the guy in from pick a band. Okay? It's never a sure thing with any musician. Okay? You got to have that chemistry. The fact that they're really good on a video doesn't tell me, are they going to be good playing in your band? And they said it was almost immediate. Okay. It was like they knew. And when you know, you know.
Sounds familiar, right?
And they're the ones playing with her.
Well, the same thing when they hired Neil.
Yep,
Okay?
that's what I mean.
You can have the resume to end all resumes. David and I know this from academia. Just because you got a great resume doesn't mean you're going to be good in the classroom. Okay? The woods are full of people with great resumes, and they couldn't get up in front of a class in a million years. All they can do is read their notes and read their PowerPoint slides. You've got to be an entertainer. You've got to be a performer. And they said when they played along with her, it was like, yeah, this, absolutely, this. So trust the force, Luke. I mean, trust the process. If it isn't right, they wouldn't have done it. So yeah, beyond the clips, beyond the recommendations, beyond the references, they did what I would have done. They brought her in, and they were able to see for themselves that she's the right person. But they also had a mission. And part of that mission was to honor Neil's legacy. And if she were not able to play the music that would honor Neil's legacy, would not have happened. Okay? So I'm very comfortable with how it all turned out. I really am. It's not for me to be comfortable. It's for them. But I'm just saying, for myself as a friend and as someone who goes back 51 years with the band, if they're happy, I'm happy for them. I want their happiness, because if they're not happy, they won't be able to perform well. They won't play well. They won't be able to do the kind of music that they want to do. And isn't it just like them that they got in touch with Carrie, Neil's widow, that they got in touch with Olivia, Neil's daughter. I don't know too many other bands that would do that, okay? I don't know too many other bands that would have me around either. And I'm not being snide about that. Would you like a long list of all the bands that I've helped over the years? You know how many of them call me? Bupkis. That's a technical term.
Well, yeah, one. One.
But I'm saying other than Rush, okay? I can count on the fingers of no fingers how many bands that I've helped over the years keep in touch. The only ones that do are Rush. That is the kind of people they are. They are famously loyal. When I was backstage with Geddy, I mean, he said to me, Donna, you had to be here for this. You had to be here. And I'm thinking in my mind, I don't know too many people that would do that, okay? I mean, yes, I've been a friend to them. Yes, I've kept in touch over the years. Yes, I took on the critics on their behalf. Yes, I convinced other radio stations to play them. That's all very nice. You know, helped them get a star on the Walk of Fame, etc., and etc. Petitioned the Rock Hall endless times. But again, I've done lots of things for lots of people. My phone ain't ringing. And yet, these guys, the people in their road crew have been with them for years. The people in their management have been with them for years. They're back with Cliff Bernstein. Cliff Bernstein from Mercury Records. Okay, Cliff was there. He's got a management company. They're wonderful people. They couldn't be nicer. But my point is, everything old is new again. But loyalty, you know, if the family is not on board, Neil's family, they wouldn't have felt right about doing it. So that just says to you what kind of people they are, okay? And I really invite the fans that are skeptical to just put it aside. Let them do what they know they want to do, what they're good at, what they love doing. Part of wanting to come back again was the fact that they know how much this means to the fans. There are young fans who have never seen Rush play live. Okay? And yeah, it's true, Neil will not be back. But his music will live on. And the love they have for what he contributed will live on. And I don't know if I sound like I'm babbling endlessly, but I just feel like it is a privilege to be with a band, to be friends with a band, to know a band that has such respect for their music, for the legacy of Neil, and for the love of the fans. And also, can we put in a word for John Rutsey? Because they never stopped playing Working Men. They never did. They could, the moment Neil joined, they could have just said, you know, that first album, Rutsey, you know, he's gone now, nuts to him.
Yeah.
They knew the fans loved Working Men, and so they kept on performing. And Neil embraced the song. Neil came to just be like, yep, not the kind of song I would have written, but fine. The fans like it. Let's have some fun with it. And it is no accident that that's what they closed R40 with.
Yes.
They knew the fans loved that song. To this day, when I hear the opening chords of Working Man, it just takes me back. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's a good segue because we got a comment from Ron, the drummer here. I'm gonna throw it on the screen. What song did you lock onto after Working Man?
Finding My Way. Finding My Way. That's another song that the moment I hear the opening chords, it just gives me the chills. It really does. Okay. I don't think that the average fan gives that first album enough love. Okay. I agree. It's very different from what Rush became. Okay. But if that foundation had not been set, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If there weren't some really good songs on that first album, it would not have led to what followed. Okay. So yeah, after Working Man, it was Finding My Way. And then we did really well with Here Again, a song that has been really forgotten and should not be. And Geddy told me that his dream was to play that song in one of the biggest venues in Toronto. They were just a bar band at the time, but his dream was one day we'll be in concert, maybe at Massey Hall, maybe at one of the like really big venues, and we're going to play that song. So yeah. So they were dreaming big even back then.
And even, the song I was going to mention Here Again, because, that first album was very different. It was just straightforward, raw rock and roll. It was, Fly By Night forward was very different. But some of the musical pieces, the guitar playing in Here Again, before and after,
I'm sorry, but I think Rutsey.
It wasn't just bad company.
Yeah, Rutsey's drum fills were not bad. Rutsey's drum fills. When I think of Rutsey, God rest his soul, I think of Ringo Starr. I'm not trying to equate the two. I'm just saying they're two drummers that got no respect from the fans in the early years of their careers. Everybody was like, Ringo, he's no Keith Moon. Well, yeah, that's true, but he was a basic drummer. He did what needed to be done. He was perfect for those early years of what the Beatles were putting out. Ditto for Rutsey. Rutsey was a really good, basic, but really competent rock drummer, okay? And had he not had a bunch of health problems, I am sure he would have latched on with another band, and we'd probably be hearing from him today. One of the things I feel really bad about, and I mean this sincerely, actually two things. Thing number one, that there's no cure for the kind of cancer that Neil had. I feel terrible about that. We've made so many medical advances in the world today. Still don't have that one handled. But the other thing, I wish John Rutsey had lived 20 years later. Because had he lived 20 years later, diabetes, ho-hum, okay? There were all of these great new medications. Yeah, sure, you still had to maintain yourself and watch your diet and this and that. But back then, you had to go to the hospital for infusions, for heaven's sake, okay? I mean, the idea that you could go out on the road and be a drummer with diabetes wasn't going to happen. Wasn't going to happen, okay? And yes, I did meet Rutsey. That when they came to the Allen Theater in late June 28, 1974, it was the last time that Rutsey was with the band, and he did make the tour with them, okay? He was very shy. I don't think we exchanged more than 3 words, okay? But they all were shy back then. They were kids, okay? They were barely out of their, I think they were, 21? Okay? Imagine how you would have been back then. But yeah, after that, the band wanted to go in one direction. Rutsey wanted to go in another. Wasn't going to happen, plus his health. But I will always wonder if Rutsey had been born, let's say, 20 years later, and was able to, it's the 1990s and he's out. He would have been a very successful rock drummer, and we'd all be talking about, wow, that whatever band it is, that drummer, that guy's pretty, I mean, he's no Neil Peart, but he's pretty good. So I'm thinking in that way. Sure. And like I said, I really invite people to revisit that first album because, yeah, it's nothing like what came after. But there wouldn't have been an after without that first album. Just saying.
Here's a good one. Will you be at the first show of the tour or any show of the tour?
I'll be very honest with you. The answer is, I don't know. I will show up wherever they want me to show up. I mean that sincerely. Okay? Wherever Geddy and Alex want me, that's where I will be. And I'm not saying that like, well, I have no agency in my life. I'm saying these are my friends. These are my friends. Okay. So if they want me in East Hutziplots, okay, I'll find a way to get there. They've been wonderful to me over the years. So I'm very willing to wait and see. Okay. And to see what's going to happen, because I don't know at this point. But wherever it is, I'll be there. And if I'm not there, I'll be there in spirit, because, like I said, I am so happy for them. It was unexpected. Nobody would have thought it. As I said in my blog, never say never. I still remember the Eagles, we'll get back together again when hell freezes over. Yeah.
And then they released a
Years
DVD.
later, they're touring, and they called their tour the When Hell Freezes Over tour. Rush didn't part with any animosity. They didn't part with like, oh my God, I'm never talking to him again. Geddy and Alex were in touch like on a regular basis. They'd go to each other's houses. They'd hang out with each other. But the idea of performing again as a band just felt wrong. It felt disrespectful to Neil's memory. They couldn't do it. They couldn't even think about it. But as time passed, they really wanted to honor him. And I mean that sincerely. This is not like, oh, they were just trying to make a buck. Nah, they could make a buck in any one of a million other ways. They really enjoyed performing, and they wanted to keep the music alive. And Neil always said to me, he said, Donna, I don't want to be a parody of myself. I don't want to like stay on the job too long. I don't want to play to the point where I'm not any good anymore. We've all seen bands that like keep trotting out their old stuff year after year after year. They can't make the notes anymore. They can't play the drum fills, but they're out there, and you're just sitting there going, oh my God, retire. We don't want to be that. We want to go out on top. And they did go out on top. And now they have an opportunity to reinvent, to rejuvenate, to do some new things while being faithful to the old. I think we're pretty lucky as fans to be living in a time when we can see that.
That actually made me think, the question I had for you, Donna, was, given that your intro was to a degree blind, you focused so much on friendship, and then Geddy did, when Geddy spoke and he brought up wanted to play with his friend again. As far as Alex goes, they together did not have a chance to honor their friend Neil, and now they can live in this group setting with fans and all that. How did that feel to be a part of that? Because your intro led perfectly into
Absolutely
what he spoke about. That blew my mind. You didn't know, but this is what we're.
But this is what it's always been. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, when I was in the hospital, when I had cancer, his sister sent me flowers. Okay. Neil's, Geddy's sister. I mean, we're still in touch. Very nice woman. But my point is, it's a big family. And no, I'm not close with every member of the Rush family. I'd be lying if I said I was. But what I have observed over the years, from how they treated me, from how they treat each other, it is a big extended family. Now, that said, I know there are people that are going to say to me, yeah, but I asked Geddy for an autograph and he wouldn't sign it. You know, everybody has a day, come on. I can't say that every person, including the people on this panel, are always sweet, always kind, always in a good mood. It doesn't happen. Okay. So now that band, now that's Led Zeppelin, all right. And I don't know who those guys, Mahogany guys from Montreal, Mahogany Rush. Yeah,
Mahogany
that's who
Rush.
it is.
Frank Marino. Yeah.
Nobody knew. But my point is, everybody has a bad day sometimes. But over the years, what I've observed And I've observed it when they didn't even know I was watching. Okay, so it isn't like, well, they were putting it on for you, Donna. No, they weren't. I've sat backstage where they didn't even realize I had come backstage and just watched the way they interact. They like each other. They really like each other. And it is so refreshing to see people. I mean, here in Boston, we used to joke about the Red Sox years ago. The Red Sox were a famously dysfunctional team before they finally won the World Series in 2004. There was a joke about how they were 25 guys in 25 cabs. You know, they'd all just like arrive separately. And when the game was over, they'd leave and never talk to each other. Rush aren't like that. They actually like each other. They actually enjoy hanging out with each other. So no, I wasn't surprised at all. And that's why I centered friendship, because that's what I've seen firsthand. And they could have forgotten me years ago. I've done a lot of stuff for them over the years. So what? Okay, it's a very transactional business. It's a very what have you done for me lately business. But even after I was no longer in the industry, even after I had reinvented myself and gotten my PhD, which Neil was amused by, when I got my PhD and became a professor, they still kept in touch. That's so unusual, but it's not unusual if you know them, if you see the banter between them, if you see the jokes. When Geddy wrote his autobiography, he talked about it. The thing that kept them together all these years is they knew how to make each other laugh. That's whether it's the bag, any one of a number of different little, routines and goofs that they had with each other, or just hanging around, okay, going for donuts, whatever. They're the most unassuming people. That scene in Beyond the Lighted Stage where they're sitting at the Tim Hortons eating donuts. I mean, yeah, I have never seen them do like this "don't you know who I am" thing. No. I mean, when I went backstage, honest, there they were, just like hanging out. Geddy's watching the Blue Jays, and Alex is kibitzing with a few other people, and then the game was over, and they were just joking with each other, and then I started joking with them. This is how they are. If you didn't know they were rock stars, I have said a million times, and I've told you a million times not to exaggerate, but I have said a million times, these are people that are in fact the same people now that they were when I met them way back in 74. A little more confidence, okay? A little more self-assuredness, but they've never been, hey, I'm a rock star, respect my authority. No. And that's one of the things I like about them. They're family men. Yeah, they're nice Canadian boys, except I know some nice Canadian boys that aren't such nice Canadian boys. Come on, I was a music director for many years. I've met musicians that are like, ew, do I have to be around those people? But with Rush, it's like your family. It's like your family. Success has never spoiled them. I mean, look at the money. Look at the donation that Geddy made to the Negro Leagues Museum. Mm-hmm. He didn't have to do that. He got a big collection. He could have kept it for himself, okay? Could have kept it for himself. But he didn't, okay? He wanted to take his wife on vacation. He likes his wife. They get along. Now, that sounds like a silly thing to say, except I know a lot of rock stars that, yeah, they're with the 19th mistress or something. Nope.
That's a good comment here.
Nope. So, cool memorabilia that would make all of us jealous. If I told you, I'd have to kill you. To be honest with you, I have a lot of memorabilia. But I also have a lot of memorabilia just from my career in broadcasting. You saw the WMMS t-shirt. which still fits me. Imagine my surprise.
Yeah, the one you wore at the
Yeah.
Rock Hall.
The
Yeah,
announcement.
I've got a couple of others too. So yeah, but Ron, mostly what I have from the band is a lot of memories. Okay. Which long after stuff is gone, those memories are priceless. And I'm talking memories of their concerts, memories of being backstage, memories of hanging out with them, memories of just chatting with them about nothing in particular, but just they're my friends. Why can't I talk to them? You know? I mean, those kinds of things, those are gold. You know, do I have some jackets? Do I have some t-shirts? Sure, I do. Am I going to share them with you? Sure, I'm not. But I've got them. I'm glad I've got them. But that's not what I'm in it for. The fact that they gave me a book or a t-shirt or a jacket, that's nice. I'm glad I've got those things. I will cherish them always. But far more important is a 51-year friendship. How lucky am I?
we'll wrap with this joke here because I know Donna has to go teach a class. So, can you share their email addresses?
The only word there is can. Now,
That's
don't
funny.
forget, I used to be an English teacher, so yes, I can share
You
their.
can,
I am
but you
capable
won't.
of doing it. The question is, will I? And
Right.
the answer is
No.
I'll tell you what, Paul. If the day that happens is the day I'll cut my hair for you.
There you go. There you go. Yes. Thank you, Donna.
Nah,
That was great.
I hope I
Good
was
stuff.
okay, but
Marvelous.
I got to tell you, maintaining confidence is very important to me. Yes, I have email addresses. Yes, I have all kinds of things. Am I going to share them with anyone? No. And the reason I'm not is they asked me not to. And I understand wanting to keep some privacy, not because they don't love the fans, but because they love their wives, they love their kids, and they
They're
want to
people
have,
too. Yeah.
these are human beings. And I just, no, I just won't do it. Okay. So, yeah, Linda, you're absolutely right. They've been friends since high school. And again, they like each other. I don't know too many rock bands, and I've known a lot of rock bands. Don't forget, I had a 4-decade-long career in broadcasting. While I'm known for Rush, I've done a lot of work with a lot of other rock stars, record labels, etc., etc. I mean, I was a radio consultant for 28 years. I worked with stations all over North America. I mean, so it's not like, well, I have nothing to compare it to, but I've seen rock stars that couldn't stand to be in the same room with each other. I've seen rock stars scream at their help because they had the wrong color M&Ms, or, well, how come you didn't bring me the such and such? Never seen the guys in Rush do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have they ever been upset because something wasn't backstage for them? Probably. But all I know is they enjoy being together. And they enjoy being with their friends.
Yep.
They enjoy hanging out. But what they really love to do is they love to make the fans happy. That is so important. Geddy said that to me. Okay. The truth is, they don't need to go back out there. They could do the occasional benefit concert and have fun, but they like performing. And I understand that. I mean, I miss radio every day of my life. Okay. I like being a professor. I like teaching about the media. I like writing articles and doing interviews. It's all very nice. And I miss being on the air. And I love doing these kinds of things because I'm on the air. I love it. I enjoy it.
That I want to make sure we said was thank you for always being here for us. when we've asked you to come on and talk to us. That means the world to us, Donna. Thank you.
Well, Paul, the $1,000 check had nothing to do with it. I was just, I mean,
Wait, hold it. You got how much?
Wait till Friday. Don't
You're
catch
in,
me.
you're in the wrong profession, David.
no, but that's my point. That's my point. No matter what you want or what you need, if you're a Rush fan, you're family. Okay? I mean, like, I'm on, thank you, Sean, you're a rock star. I'm on Reddit. Sometimes there's a subreddit dedicated to Rush. And every now and then, I will post a question or post a comment or post my blog if it's about Rush or whatever. And fans are like, you answered just about every comment. Yeah, because mom raised me to be courteous. If I just put up a question and you gave me your response, isn't it courteous for me to get in touch and like answer what you just said? I mean, agreed. If I get like 5,000 responses, I probably can't answer all 5,000. But boy, howdy, I'm going to try. Okay? And I got to tell you, that's how the guys in Rush are. No, they can't sign every autograph. No, they can't be in every city at every time, meeting every fan. But they're going to really make an effort. They really are. And I just feel like it's the least I can do. If you guys want me on your pod, if you want me on your webcast, if you want me wherever, if I can do it, why wouldn't I? Knowing Rush changed my life. Okay? I mean, yes, I had a life before. Yes, I had a life after. But I think we can all say with certainty that knowing Rush, whether we know them personally or whether we just know them through their music, it's been life-changing. And if, in fact, me talking about something is going to be informative or make the fans happy, why wouldn't I do it? I mean, I've had people say, oh, you're so arrogant. You think it's all about you. No, I don't, actually. I think it's all about them. But if I can offer some firsthand perspective, I'm going to do it. And my perspective is probably different from other people's perspectives. Keep in mind, and I've said this before, but I really want to just put this out here. As you know, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I never have, okay? I got in it for the music, not for the lifestyle. Rush are like anybody else. They've done some weed, they've done some partying, they've done some all kinds of things. But you know what they didn't do? But you know what they didn't do? They didn't do any of it around me because they knew that that wasn't something I was into. And out of respect for me, they kept it away from me. I think that's commendable because I don't know too many people that would do that. Okay? I mean, respect. That's what it's all about. Respect. And they knew I fought for them. They knew that I loved them. And this was one of the many ways that they showed that they respected and loved me. And I will always be grateful for that. And thank you, Ron, for being a fan. I hope I was halfway interesting. Was I halfway interesting?
It's a great conversation.
At
Absolutely.
least 3/4 to 100%. More than halfway.
Because I don't want to be boring.
No.
I'm just messing with you, Donna, because I know that, you'll do the same to me.
If I even knew who you were.
Who
There it
is
is.
this guy?
There
Who
it
is this guy? All right. We can wrap it up there. Donna has more important things to attend to.
Before you wrap it up,
Go ahead.
Ryan, what do you do for a living?
I'm in IT.
Paul, what do you do for a living?
I'm a dean's assistant at a wonderful high school. Go Wolves.
David, what do you do for a living?
I teach philosophy.
Here you have 3 different people from 3 different walks of life, all brought together by a love of a rock band called Rush. And I suggest to you that in the world today, you will find few bands that have brought together righties, lefties, centrists, liberals, conservatives, socialists. I mean, all different, feminists, anti-feminists, people that love drummers, people that hate drummers. It's amazing to me how many people from how many walks of life have one thing in common: a love of Rush.
There you go.
Ron says he's a retired. How do we know you're retired, Ron? But this is it. I have never seen a band with fans from so many walks of life, and yet the one thing that we all agree on: what an amazing band, and how lucky we are that they are still making music.
2026 people, go get your very appropriately priced ticket. The general on sale is tomorrow as we do this. That's a discussion for another time.
Yes.
But, we all have
everybody that watched this or listened or whatever.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Seriously, thank you. Rush mean a lot to us.
Yep.
We are so glad that they mean a lot to you as well. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank
you, Paul. Thank you, David. Thank you, commenters. And we will see you next time. We'll do more 50-something somethings. Take care, everybody.
Aloha.